Upon release, Cyberpunk was supposed to deliver high-octane, energy-fueled fun. But did it? Well...
Hello there, Night City!
But in all seriousness, I think we all know what happened when the game launched. I'm sure 99% of people already know the story behind this game, but I'll give just a little overview in case you need it. I still remember the years worth of build-up and hype for Cyberpunk. Also, I remember tempering my expectations because deep down, I knew it just could not live up to that level of hype. Frankly, sometimes it just doesn't matter how good a game actually is, it just won't live up to the expectations because those expectations are so astronomically high. It doesn't really matter how good the game actually is. Now, am I trying to make an excuse for why the game came out so undercooked? Not at all. It was one of those games that I never really had a big interest in, but still hoped it was really good for the people that were really excited for it. Unfortunately, oh boy, was this game's launch a mess. I mean, there was the multiple delays, even an extra month delay before release, which to me was such a big red flag because if the game wasn't ready, another month, realistically, was not going to be enough. But of course, they got to get it out before Christmas. Anyway, enough about its release. So, attention to Cyberpunk recently skyrocketed thanks to a little show called Edgerunners, an anime on Netflix. Like I said, I personally never really cared all that much for Cyberpunk and its world, the lore, etc. But my friend convinced me to give the show a watch. So I did, and you know what? It really did blow me away. Not only that, but it ignited an interest in the actual game itself for me. And that same friend so kindly offered to let me borrow it. And I must say, I was not disappointed. So before we get into any of the meaty details, I want to preface something. I do think the game has vastly improved. I really enjoy my time playing it and I think it's great. There are a lot less bugs. However, that does not mean there are no bugs. Think of it this way. If you had a ship that had 100 holes in it and it was sinking and you managed to patch up 70 of those holes, great job. You got a lot of them, but there's still 30 holes there and that's not nothing. What I'm trying to say is there's still a lot of bugs in the game. Sometimes they're very minor, you don't even notice them. Sometimes they completely ruin the game. So what I'm going to do is rather than have a whole segment where I talk about the bugs and show you the footage, I'm just going to let them roll in the background as B-roll footage. So while I'm telling you about the things I like about the game and some of the things I don't like, you can visually see the bugs. That's going to save a good 10 minutes of me talking about all the bugs I experienced. The funniest bug was definitely the one I showed at the beginning. The same thing happened to me multiple times.
Hello there, Night City! Stanley here with you, and we got another...
It's so beautiful.
Alright, so good things. First off, the story completely enveloped me. I was genuinely enthralled through the whole game and kept trying to explore different avenues to see where the game would take me. There were so many times where I went back a save a few minutes just to try a different dialogue option, just to see what they would say. Because I was so curious for so many characters and stuff. Honestly, I was surprised at how much it grabbed me. The first few hours of the game are really, really awesome. Completely immerses you, pulls you right in. The immersion does drop a little bit throughout the game, but it's still very, very good. Obviously, I can't say too much more about the story as I don't want to spoil anything, but there is multiple endings and the whole story and the way people act is very fitting for the world. That's as much as I'll say. The combat is pretty stylish, lots of different playstyles such as swords, guns, or you can go hacking, etc. For example, I went with a throwing knife only build. So I ran around just specking points into knives and throwing, and I would just throw them at people. I absolutely loved it, it was really fun. I do personally think the gunplay is alright, it's not bad, it's just nothing great. I've definitely played better, but it's not really a big deal because there's so many different options that you're not really funneled into doing something you don't want to do. So I appreciate that. I actually found a lot of the characters very endearing. I found myself really surprised by how attached I felt throughout the campaign, especially to certain characters. There was one group of people that I really liked and wanted to continue to grow my relationship with, to learn more about them because they were very well written. Exploring the world was really fun, I really enjoyed it, but there was something that ruined the game for me. I don't know if this was just me, but I have seen evidence of other people suffering the same fate. But for some reason, if you drive faster than 30 kilometers an hour, the game just cannot keep up. You've been seeing it now in the footage for the last few minutes. The game literally cannot render the world in front of you quick enough, cannot spawn NPCs or anything. Even the audio and the radio lags behind. If you drive more than 1 kilometer, once you get to your destination, you have to get out of your car and stand there and just wait for everything to catch up. You literally have to stand there and wait for the audio to catch up to you. So when you get out of your car, you'll hear your car's engine turn off 20 seconds later or something. It's really bad. I don't know if it's just my computer, because I mean I don't have a weak computer, and I have seen other people have the same issues. It's just, oof, yeah, bad. Some really cool minor things I liked. There's some really cool minor things where I noticed them and just went, oh hey, that's actually really cool. Such as the loading screens. The loading screens might actually be some of the coolest I've ever seen in the whole industry. They're just really creative. They've got like everything's almost static, but there's a few parts of it that are animated. It's really creative, and they are relevant to the story. They have subtitles and voice lines, so they're almost like cutscenes. They're really cool. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, is this like gonna happen through the whole game? And it does. It's really cool. Quick fire of some more minor things. Voice acting, phenomenal. Subtle animations in people's faces and body language is really good when it actually works. Dialogue and dialogue options are also pretty expansive, and I was quite surprised by how impactful your choices in dialogue options can actually be. There's a lot of little bonuses around the city that really help increase the immersion. Places you can sit down and little food shops you can get food from. A lot of good world building stuff laying around the open map. Another one of the cool features I really liked was the phone calls. Pretty much at any point you can open up your little phone list and just call whoever you want. I would always call certain people after certain missions just to try and see what they would say, and little story elements, stuff like that. That was really fun. And this also comes hand in hand with a little email/texting system where people will send you messages and you can choose a response. And it's kind of just like real life, where you're making sure that what you're saying back doesn't come across as bad, or like you don't piss them off or something. I remember a couple of times I sent back the wrong message and realized I was like, oh no. So I quickly reloaded the save and, corrected that. Unfortunately, I can't do that in real life, but hey, it's a video game, so what are you gonna do? Not that it really matters anyway, because I don't actually have any friends. Anyway, look, to be honest, there's probably a lot more things I could talk about in the game, but I don't think I really need to go into much more detail. It's a simple matter of the game was undercooked when it came out. It's a lot more cooked now, and I would definitely recommend it. It's still not perfect, but I think it's definitely earned another shot for most people. So that's that. I'm not going to go into any more spoilers or anything. I'm just going to say, yeah, if you're interested, check it out. If you've already played it through and through, there's probably not much for you, unfortunately. But yeah, that's really all I got. So if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do.
Bye.